Welcome back. We're still continuing with our news review this morning with the Ukuru Yatani Governor Marsabit, Jonathan Moke, Deputy Governor Nairobi, and Yusuf Hassan MP for Kamukunji. And now I want to discuss Marsabit politics because Governor Ukuru Yatani is the latest governor to declare allegiance. And let me make that clear. To declare allegiance, a shift in allegiance towards President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. Remember, he was in ODM. He still is an ODM governor as it stands right now. You've not officially left the party, but things have changed. So describe to us, how exactly is the situation? Are you in Jubilee?
Well, thank you very much. I think the basis of any political party is to aspire to, to win government, and at the same time promote certain policies and programs that we believe in. I want to make one correction that I have not defected to Jubilee. We, as a region, we formed our own political party, the Frontier Alliance Party. Party that, the aspirations will promote be a national party, but heavily inclined towards promoting matters within the pastoral communities. The programs and, policies that's going to endear the people to better level of, economic status. That is one. But in our own thinking, we think through the party that we can support the president to become part of the alliance that's going to promote and vote for the current president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. That is the position. We have a party. The reason as to why we thought going through the party way would be the best, from a historical perspective, the northern Kenya, the pastoral communities, we've not been occupying the heart and the minds on the central politics of this country. We've been basically on the periphery. The session of paper number 10 of 1965 of on African socialism envisioned a situation where investments, social infrastructure investments will be done within the high potential areas. Those are perceived to be agriculturally rich, with the hope that the spillover will be used to develop northern Kenya. That never happened. Agriculture continued to do poorly, coffee, tea, and many others. So there's really nothing tangible can be realized for promotion of economic situation in northern Kenya. That is now the historical perspective. Yes. And even after, nothing much has changed. We were lucky that devolution came, and already we are seeing the fruits. But we said, we can anchor it better by having a platform that we are going to promote. Of course, not to the exclusion of the rest of the country, but a party that will be bedrocked within the pastoral economy, with a view of now promoting the social infrastructure so that we can catch up with the rest of Kenyans. This way we want to go, and I think the time is right so that we have that vehicle, and then we sit on the table with whichever party. But for the moment, for the coming election, we decided to support Uhuru Kenyatta for the presidency. Yes,
Governor, you say you formed your own party, the Frontier Party, but parties in Kenya and from our history, parties are basically used as vehicles for election or re-election. Now, Jubilee Party is the vehicle that has been picked by President Uhuru Kenyatta for his re-election. If at all you support President Uhuru Kenyatta, why don't you just, would it not have been simpler just to switch and merge into Jubilee as the other small parties did? And because simply, if it's a matter of re-election, it would serve the same purpose.
We felt that's really not the right thing to do for us, because we wanted to maintain our identity. Our policies and programs that we want to implement at a later stage are not really full in tandem with the Jubilee Party. But we can be allies and negotiate and ensure that whatever we believe in can be achieved by partnering with the Jubilee Party.
Okay, so it's a long-term strategy.
It was a long-term strategy, and as you said, quite a number of parties over time have just been vehicles for re-election or for election. But we want to go beyond election. We want to have a vehicle that has some certain, connotes certain identities, not necessarily the exclusion of the rest of the Kenyan, but a policy program that's going to promote our interests, and we are in it for a longer time. It's not only we are not doing, that's why we are not filling a presidential candidate, but we are going to fill candidates all across the country.
Okay.
That negotiate and discuss on those policies and programs that we felt they are dear to us, to supplement the efforts of devolution. Because at the county level at the moment now, things have really changed. Within a very short time, things are happening. There's a lot of investment in the social infrastructure. The economy is on the up. The pastoral economy, livestock, is the heart of our business. Unless we modernize pastoralism, unless we have get value for what we produce, unless we have a sustainable investment in the natural resource, particularly solar, wind energy, mining, and very many others. These are areas that we want to focus on and go beyond election and ensure that we catch up with the rest of Kenya and we get value for what we're producing. If you look at other parts of the agricultural sector, we have the coffee board, the tea board, all these, but the pastoral areas occupy more than 70% of the Kenyan landmass. And if you look at the livestock sector, we all eat meat. And the potential to export to the rest of the country, the world, is so much. But are we doing anything? What has went wrong? That's why we think we can be champion of our own cause, and that's why we felt the Frontier Alliance Party has come at the right time, and is going to change the face and the livelihood of the people in those regions. Okay.
Now you are in ODM, and some of those MPs have also shifted allegiances. Why in ODM as well? The women representative Nasra, MP Lekuton, they're all in ODM. Yes. What changed? Because you seem to be talking about a totally different agenda for the Frontier Party. But this shift from allegiance to ODM to being supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election, what changed?
Don't forget, the sitting members of Parliament, they are not all from ODM. The others also from UDF and other stuff. But the reason is that we believe the root cause of challenges within those pastoral areas, conflict, has been the core of our business. Ethnicity, divisions, scarcity of resources. And people sometimes, the reason for conflict is because of those scarcity of resources. We've discussed, and we felt the best thing to do is that we must maintain peaceful coexistence among our communities, and the leaders must champion this cause. We would rather be in a relationship that will give us a sustainable atmosphere, rather than going to parties, and then based on the strength of the parties, we have had our own challenges. We value harmony, we value coexistence. This is one bit, and we said if we can work together as a team to advance a cause that's going to cut across not within our border but also beyond, we said so be it.
It is a shift between ODM to Jubilee, or between the party leader of ODM and the party leader of Jubilee. What informed that shift in allegiances?
Several things informed them. One, from election to date, we've had a good partnership and engagement with the president and his party. We've worked together and we've jointly developed these regions. And we think the president is good enough for us to work together. We've not had any challenge, although we come from the opposition. We've not had any challenge by relating to him, by working with him. And he's also requested us to work with him, so we decided.
Okay. Anything to add to that? I know when it comes to politics of the Northern Frontier, if I may call it that, it's something foreign. It's not as heated as Nairobi, or as chaotic as Nairobi. There's a place to be more organized, that you can get the entire leadership to move and shift allegiances in one go, as opposed to Nairobi, where even one party, they do not seem to agree on on one candidate.
I think politics from the north is mainly on clan politics and negotiated democracy. So theirs is very local, and it's dealt with at that.
Politics is local.
But theirs is extremely local. The communities sit down, different communities and clans, and agree that they're going to field leaders in different positions, and the governor can correct me if I'm wrong. But what caught my eye is when Governor Yatani says that he's not in Jubilee, but he's in another party called Frontier. And I don't wear a Jubilee jersey, so I'm not quite sure what happens in there. But looking from outside, I recall a few months ago that the president and the deputy president went around the country saying that they're uniting Kenyans, and so they're going to fold all other parties and they'll have one party called Jubilee. Then a few months later, we find parties now. There's Maendeleo Chap Chap, there's KANU, there's Frontier. I saw Duale yesterday say they've bought, I didn't know you could buy a party, by the way, but they've bought Party of Action, Power. So I'm wondering, have the president and the deputy decided now they're going to divide Kenyans instead of unite them, or maybe the Jubilee guys can tell us?
And it is true that after the talk of merger and all parties supporting Uhuru Kenyatta have to be under one umbrella, there's now talk of co-opting smaller parties, possibly to help prevent a fallout or contain a fallout after the nominations, and the Frontier Party could just be one of them. What happened to this issue of we all have to be in one vehicle?
Let me first of all say that you've been unfair to Nairobi, Jubilee, in the sense that we are united. If you look at the people who are supporting one of the candidates, Peter Kenneth, the MP for Starehe, the MP for Roysambu, the MP for Kasarani, the MP for Embakasi North, the MP for Embakasi Central, the MP for Embakasi West, are all together. Therefore, the majority of the MPs from Nairobi are definitely on one side, but somehow this is not reflected.
But when we're talking of sides, it means there's no unity.
No, reporting the majority I'm talking about, the majority. So, but coming to this issue of parties, first of all, the idea of having a bigger Jubilee community, a Jubilee party is an excellent idea in terms of uniting our country. And I'd like to welcome my brother, the governor of Marsabit, to the Jubilee family. He might not be in Jubilee as a party. That concept was developed in order to enhance, improve cohesion and the unity of our people. That is the best way for us to go. But if you look at the realities of our country, there are some regions that are not really party oriented, and to a certain extent I think the party leadership acknowledges that the fact that in northern Kenya and in some parts of our underdeveloped Kenya, people are not allied or do not understand the concept of belonging to a party. They support people from their communities based on their relationship, and therefore that is important to acknowledge. You cannot change our society in a day, but I think the ultimate purpose and the ultimate drive should be to have 2 or 3 major parties for our country. That would be good for our youth.
So the Frontier Party should eventually dissolve and merge into the larger Jubilee?
Ideally, but what I'm saying now is that in the case of northern Kenya, like in Tana River, the governor of Tana River has joined us. He's supporting the president. The governor of Marsabit, with his members of parliament, my colleagues Chachu, Likoton, and Nasra, whom I welcome all of them, have realized that in fact President Uhuru Kenyatta is a president for every Kenyan. He is a president for development and unity, and therefore the most important thing for us, the bottom line, is that they are supporting the re-election of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and that actually for us is sufficient at the moment, in the sense that we will be in a position to increase the numbers of people who would be supporting our president versus the ones who would be supporting the opposition.
You've not answered the question about parties, because at some point Jubilee Party was very categorical, and they were even saying that any party that do not pretend to be supporting the president if you've not dissolved your outfit.
Yes, and we have that. Several political parties have dissolved, and to a certain extent in most of Kenya we have a united Jubilee, but there are exceptions that you have alluded to. That there are
those exceptions are now welcome?
Yes.
Just a clarity. We should not create perception that we formed this party to join Jubilee. No. The party has its own identity. We formed the party based on our own situation. And then after the registration, there was a request, a proposal that we work as a team, which we have agreed. We are going to support the election of the president, but maintain our identity. What happens after election is our business, because we are going to advance our own cause, and what happens at 2022 is still our business. It doesn't have that maybe we are going to support whoever will run on the Jubilee that time. Can still support any other party.
Yes.
But for us, the more core thing is that we have an identity, we have a vehicle that answers all our aspirations, that we are going to use it to address the unique situations of our own situation, which has really not been adequately addressed by other regimes.
Isn't it unfair for some of these parties are dissolved when they see that some other parties are being co-opted as entities? under the larger Jubilee family, yet they themselves were forced to dissolve.
They were not,
right now they do not have...
But you're using the wrong... Who forced them? This was a mutual interest. They felt that they were going to be better off in a united, bigger party, national party, and that's what they have done. But you cannot disregard the realities of the marginal areas of Kenya, where people do not have any allegiance to any political party. Let me tell you that when the people of Marsabit elected Governor Yatani, they didn't elect ODM. They elected him and his team. And I can tell you the same thing happened in Wajir, the same thing happened in many other places. And now, as we are approaching another election, there are realignments in which these people are saying, yes, we elected you, but we want you to be in government.
You're saying you don't think this will cause upheaval within Jubilee, that some of those parties that had to dissolve for them to work with President Uhuru Kenyatta will feel that they were treated unfairly because now other parties are working with President Kenyatta, but
it was a choice. Nobody forced them. It was a choice that they dissolved themselves to be part of a bigger organization, and they seem to benefit from that.
If I can come in, I think a few of them were forced. A good example is PNU. They even had to go to court, and the court reversed their decision.
PNU was divided. There were two wings.
Then I think
one wing joined us, and the other wing disagreed with us.
I think also for people is another one. I mean, I'm just giving actual. You can deny all you want.
It's not a denial.
But I'm just giving actual things. I think for people was also another one. That was dissolved, and the owners of food people have gone to court and said, hey, we are not in that thing. So I think there are some people who are really read the Riot Act and they were told if you're either with us or against us. So I was just curious to find out.
In a democratic Kenya, I can't understand how that...
Yeah, but we probably have no...
This country, you know, is led by law. We have a constitution, we have a law, and we are free to form political parties, to join political parties. So I don't think really the issue of anybody who can be forced is neither here nor there. But the thing is, the unique situations of maybe, you know, we are within the, you know, what used to be Central Pro, you can may not survive to have a smaller party because of the perception out there. But the northern Kenya, generally many parts of this country, we are free people, we make our own decisions to join party. And as you correctly said, the issue of political party influencing, you know, who gets elected is quite remote.
Another question is
quite remote because it depends on who are the players and where do you want to subscribe to. People elect individuals, they elect. That negotiated democracy in northern Kenya is very important for us. Because within a county like Marsabit, we have more than 14 different communities living within that area, and ethnicity is quite a factor.
Yes. So
it depends on, you know, how you negotiate, what you agree, who goes for what positions, and then we have a rotational leadership. That is actually the basis.
And on the issue of Marsabit, how much of that decision was based on what the elders say, or was it up to the political leaders? Because yes, you're the face of that movement. We see Governor Yatani, we see the MPs and the MCAs going to State House, but we do understand that the clan elders or the community elders make the decision. Was it a community decision or was it a political?
It's both.
Yes.
What happens, number one, when now a political season, election season comes, each communities go back to their own, you know, their caucus, they discuss and say who will be our flag bearer for what positions. After the individual communities have decided, now this group come together and negotiate and agree who goes for what positions or who gets, you know, the spoil of, you know, winning the elections. That's the time when things are being negotiated. But then in a situation where they also strongly recommend that we feel as you know, the council of elders from these communities, we feel we need to strongly work with the sitting president. So we are given some direction, but we don't have to really go for it. But you know, it's a hybrid of what the leaders think and what the community think.
But the community bears a heavier,
particularly on who gets elected, the community have a position. Although we have seen cases where, you know, it's being challenged, and some cases truly being challenged because they make, you know, they're also not angels. They make certain fundamental problem. Maybe they look at only aspect of equity and trying to balance the clan arithmetic rather than looking at the popularity of those candidates. Sometimes they do their such mistake, but in most cases, a negotiated form where, you know, the leaders, the people in position are also compelled to go by the decision that has been made. Okay. I'm a product of that in 2013. I'm still a product because my community endorsed me for the position, and then we came back and negotiated with other communities, and still I could get that platform to run, to lead, you know, as the governor. Okay. And then, of course, others also do the same. So we have two camps, one, you know, with a parallel structure, and then we now compete for space. But what you are doing is that we've been strongly persuaded by the various communities that support us to support the president re-election. And that's what we are doing.
The dynamics in Marsabit would not allow that party to dissolve as you would have wished.
No, but let me debunk this concept that in fact people have been forced into Jubilee. There are many of all the parties that are in Jubilee are there dissolved on their own volition because of the realities on the ground. You cannot, it is very hard to be elected outside a major political party from the strongholds of that party, be it in Jubilee or in the opposition. Deputy Governor Mweke knows that. You cannot be elected in some parts of the Wiper territory if you're not a member of Wiper. It is a reality. And some members of Wiper are there, not because they love Wiper or the leadership. It's because they have made political decisions based on the realities on the ground.
Yes.
So to argue that people, and then the other argument I like to debunk is the fact that when people join Jubilee or they support President Uhuru Kenyatta, they are bought with money. When they go to the opposition, they are making a free will democratic decision. That is not the case. Many of the people joining Jubilee, one, supporting the president, is because of his record, his development record, his leadership record. This is what is driving large number of opposition members into Jubilee and to supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Okay.
And we are going to empty the ranks of the opposition party as they continue to rancor
and make them dissolve.
No, we have to have an opposition, but they're losing a lot of their members because they're not going the right direction.
Okay.
We are going the right direction. And we're going to be re-elected on the 8th of August.
I want us to wrap up our news review this morning by discussing an issue that's away from the politics, but it has an aspect of politics as well, and it has to do with devolution. We do have a governor and a deputy governor here with us, and just a week or two ago we saw the Devolution Conference, the 4th annual Devolution Conference, take place in Naivasha, of course organized by the Council of Governors and attended by a lot of people, but interestingly the senators and quite a number of members of the National Assembly missed out on that forum. Now, starting today, we're having a different forum to discuss devolution. And this one is called the Legislative Forum, the 2nd Annual Legislative Summit to assess failures and success of devolution begins this morning in Mombasa. The forum comes at a time when elected leaders of national and county governments are busy defending their scorecards as majorities seek to defend their positions in the August 8th polls. Now, it is jointly organized by the Senate, the County Assemblies Forum, and other players involved in implementation of devolution under the theme Effective Legislatures for Sustainable Grassroots Development. Direct question. Deputy Governor, are you attending that forum?
No, I'm not.
Governor, are you attending this forum?
I don't see the need.
But Yusuf Hassan, this is a forum about devolution. Doesn't it concern you? Or does it concern you that governors and their deputies are staying away from a forum that is intended to discuss devolution?
Yes, absolutely. It bothers me quite a lot. It is terribly wrong. I disagree, although these are colleagues of mine from the Kenyan Parliament and from my own political party. I feel that we're not going the right direction. I think the senators should have attended the Governors' Summit. Together they would be able to move us forward. It doesn't serve us, the taxpayer, as well as in terms of consolidating our devolution process, to be spending money having separate conventions of which one side does not attend. I think governors need to do much more to bring in the MCAs and senators need to bend backwards to work closely with the governors. Otherwise, the raison d'etre for the Senate disappears. The Senate is there to work with the devolution process, to work with the governors, to strengthen our devolution process and to our democracy, and to hold governors to account.
Yes.
And therefore the onus is on the Senate to be able to bridge this gap, to work with the to work with the governors. And I think also I appeal to the governors to make sure that we bridge this gap and we bring our legislative body and our executive bodies in the devolution process together for the benefit of the development and the upliftment of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
But the way they're going now is rather disastrous, not good for the voter, not good for the country,